All right. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. My name is George. I will be doing another YouTube video uh, on the labs building a DevOps pipeline. Okay, so this lab is meant to last for 2 hours, and you are supposed to score a max of 20 points. Okay, so first off, you need to read through the overview. So in this lab, you will be building a continuous integration pipeline using cloud source repositories, cloud build triggers, and container registry. Okay, so that's the drawing of what we'll be working on today. Okay, we push code to our cloud source repositories, and that event gets triggered, triggers a build. We'll build that container and then send it to container registry. The objectives for this lab is to learn to create a Git repository, create a simple Python application, test your web application in the cloud, define a Docker build, manage Docker images with cloud build and container registry, automate build with triggers, and then test build changes. Okay, first off, we'll be using the credentials that will be provided by Quick Labs. So don't use your own personal emails when doing these labs. Okay, so let's launch the lab, and then of course the first task would be to create a repository. First, let's open up. Okay, we'll take our email from here. That's the username. Put that here. Hit enter, pick up the password here, come here, and of course do the same and click on that. Accept. Okay, and confirm to move to the next window. Let's give it a second. Okay, all right, so that's not coming up, so let's go back and look at some documentation. So the first task, we will create a repository. You will create a Git repository using the cloud source repository service in Google Cloud. This Git repository will be used to store your source code. Eventually, you will create a build trigger that starts a continuous integration pipeline when code is pushed to it. Okay, so let's go back here, and what the problem is, I don't know. Okay. Okay, so we're done. Let's click on that one. Charger. All right, so so give it a moment. We have one more step to carry out before we move into doing the tasks we've been given. Okay, so we click on this and we agree on to that, and then we come back. It says we go to click source repository, click add repository, select create new repository and click continue. Name the repository DevOps repo. So let's copy that. Okay, click on the menu. Oh, that makes the menu disappear. So let's go to cloud repositories. Okay, all right, so res registry, we're looking for repository. Okay, source repository, let's click on that one. Right, so okay, after creating, we return to Cloud Console and click activate the Cloud Shell. Okay, so while that is trying to come up, let's activate our Cloud Shell. Okay, my network is a bit slow. It was fast a moment ago, but it's gone back. It's been slow. All right, just give it a moment. So Okay, then we create a directory called GCP dash course. Then we change to the folder we just created, and then we clone our repository, then change into our repository, and then go to task 2. So our okay, all right, let's just give it a moment and see what happens. Obviously my network is really acting up, because this shouldn't take this long. Okay, all right, that's coming up. Okay, click on continue, and this is up. So let's create a repository. Git repository. Okay, so we use source repository, Google Cloud source repositories to manage private Git repositories on the GCP. Okay, so okay, all right, so we're here, add a repository, create a new one, continue, okay, give it a name, project, of course, select project ID. All right, this should be this. That's our current project. Well, let's confirm from here. We have 01-9C. So 01-9C. Okay, that's it. Your project is built based on pricing. Okay, so if you want to see how you're charged for keeping images, for keeping code in the repository, you can click on this to see that. So we'll just click on this. While that is creating, let's go on to the next task, which is, okay, sorry, we just left there. Let's put that back here. All right, so let's go and create a directory. Okay, let me move this here, come back here. Our projects, G Cloud hasn't been activated to point to our current project, so let's do that. Set projects. Okay, and then we'll paste the project ID, this one. Come back here, paste that in, hit enter. So while that is getting done, we come back here, and of course it turns yellow, so that tells you we have we've chosen our default project for that. So let's take the let's create this directory as requested. We do that. We change into that directory. Okay, and then we clone the repository we created. I will check to see if it's done. Okay, clone the repository. This is using SSH G Cloud command to clone the repository. This is how we will do that, and the rest. So we are okay. All right. So these are the steps. If you want to use SSH authentication to interact with this repository, you want to use the Cloud SDK, or you want to do it manually, these are the steps that it would follow. Okay, so let's clone that. All right. Okay, so we're cloning that. Let's go back and we change into the cloned repository. Okay, so let's click here. Let's do that, and we change into that repository. Check our progress, and that's done. Now create a simple Python application. Now we click launch. We launch the editor. So let's do that. Okay, and then we select the DevOps repo folder in the Explorer tree on the left, and then we create a new file called main.py. Okay, and then we paste this code in there. So give that a few minutes to get done. Should shouldn't take more than a minute actually. All right, so okay. All right, so that's been done. Let's click to see. Okay, DevOps. Okay, that's empty, so right click on that. Let's say new file. We'll call it main. Okay, then we paste in this simple Flask application, my favorite framework, Flask. All right, so and then we save the changes and then right click on the devs folder and add a new folder called templates. All right, so Flask uses templates to display its pages. Okay, these are all complaining, but don't worry, we will get to fix that in a moment. So templates, a new folder. All right, so then we add a file in that folder called layout.html. So inside here, right click, new file, and then we'll paste that, click that, and then inside that file we'll paste this code. All right, so let's paste that in there. Okay, click this. Let's go back. All right, so now add the following code. We'll create another file also in the templates folder called index.html. Okay, so a new file, let's select that and hit that. Inside that file we paste this code, so it extends that layout file we added originally and then adds a jumbotron element to our page. So let's paste that in there. And of course, in Python, application prerequisites are managed using pip. Now you will add a new file that lists the requirements for this application. So the file will be called requirements.txt. In the DevOps folder, not the templates folder, we'll create a new file called this. So DevOps folder, not the templates folder, a new file. Okay, I will add that. And then we'll add one requirement, which is Flask version 1.1.1. And then of course we will change, we'll go back to the terminal, and after saving go back to the terminal and then add all the files there using that git command. So let's click here and save all, and then we go back here, and in here we will add that, change into the folder, and then run git add for all the contents of that folder. And of course we'll give our own email. All right, so let's tell git what email to use. So let's paste that in. You can add any email. I'll add my own email. So okay, oh, I think I made a mistake there. All right, data projects at Gmail. All right, so oh, sorry, I did not close the brackets. That's wrong. So let's kill that one. Let me copy this here, paste it here, and go back to the beginning of the email and put an opening quotation mark. Okay, and hit enter, and that's done. Let's add a username. So let me select that one, come back here, do the same thing. All right, so let me oh, okay, so Dorian. All right, so that's not right, let's not do that. Let's do, okay, all right, so that's done. Then now we commit our changes using the method initial commit. So let me make this slightly bigger, if that is okay. Doesn't work. Let's see that. Okay, that doesn't work, but it's all right. Let's paste that in there and commit all the changes and then push this to the master. Of course, the master is the repository we created on source repository. Okay, that's been pushed, and then refresh the source repository and let's see. All right, so let's refresh this one. Okay, so it's there. All right, initial commit. And then of course these are the files you find in the templates folder, the main file, the requirements file. Okay, so what next? Test your application. We change into location, and then we install the applications as listed in the requirements file. So that's happening and that's been done. All right, so we run our application. All right, so let's see what happens. All right, so it's running on port 8080. All right, so it's configured to run port 80. To see the program running, we'll click on our web preview button, which is here, and of course, let's see. Simple Flask application. All right, so authenticate user 0. Okay, all right, so that's up and running. Okay, to stop the program, return to the Cloud Console and press Ctrl C in the Cloud Shell. Okay, so if we do this, Ctrl C here, it stops that program. All right, so in the code editor, expand the DevOps folder in the General Explorer pane on the left, and then click main.py to open it. In the main.py, change the title to something else, whatever you want. Okay, so we'll change this title. Let's go back here, click on the open editor, click here, and then we change the title to Hello DevOps Fans from God's 2020 Program. Okay, all right, so come back here, save that, and of course, to be sure we are in the correct folder, we can cd into that folder, but I think we are there already. So let me just copy the second one, or the second command. Let's save and open our terminal and then run that, and that is done. And then we push as usual to our repository, and there it goes. Okay, so that's been pushed. All right, so let's go to the source repository. Let's refresh and see the changes that are there. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so 2 pushes. The first one, initial, and the second one in descending order based on the time. Define a Docker file. In the Cloud Shell editor, expand the DevOps folder with DevOps repo selected on menu. Create a new file called Docker file. So that will be in the DevOps repo. So click on the open the editor, DevOps repo, new file called, call that Docker file. Then we'll put these lines from the Python image. The work directory will be called app. We'll copy everything in our current directory into the app directory, and then we'll run pip install to install the following application and app application, and then following app, and then also install the requirements listed in the requirements file. Then we export port 80, and then we'll run this command, and then that's about it. So basically our file should look this way. Okay, contents of the Docker file should look like that. So let's paste that in there. Okay, so of course we bind the ports as listed here, bind to that port, and then allow max of 8 threads, and our main application is called app. Okay, so all right, manage Docker images with cloud build. So we've done that. All right, okay, Now the Docker image has to be built and then stored somewhere. You will use cloud build and cloud container. So we're in this repository already. If you're not there, click on this and paste it in your terminal window. Let me save this. Sorry, let me save this. Paste that in here and make sure you are there. But we're there already, so nothing will change for us. Now let's echo the project ID and be sure that value is set, so it's there. So now we build and submit the image to the image registry. Okay, so the process will begin in a bit. All right, it started. So okay, if you're asked to enable cloud build, you should say yes. Okay, so we have not. Okay, so it's building. So it has 7 steps. So in the 4th step, okay, 5th step, and then push occurs, and we will see that. So what again? Return to the Cloud Console, and on navigation, go to the container registry and see if our image is there. So let's go to the container registry. All right, let's go down. Let's go down. Container registry images. All right, let's see if that image is there. Now, navigate to the Cloud Build service, and your build should be listed in the history. Okay, now you will now try running this image from a compute engine virtual machine. So we'll create this compute engine instance. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the image is there. You can see the image there. So that's the image. All right, so the directory holding the image. If you click into it, you will actually see the image. Okay, so that's the image there. All right. Okay. All right, so let's create a VM. Deploy container, value container. All right. And to create an instance space, specify the following and leave the remaining settings as the default. Okay. So we'll be deploying. So here we will let's return to this and navigate to this. Okay. Okay, now try running this image from a compute engine virtual machine. So we're going to run that image using a compute instance. So let's create that one. Okay, so let's do this. All right, so let's minimize this so that we have more space to work with. All right, so we're working. All right, so every other thing should be the same except for container and container image. So let's see. So create. Okay. Okay, everything should be left as is. We'll click on this, and of course the name of the image. So we will select the whole of this. Okay, and make some changes. We drop that there. We need to change this to project ID. So let's come here, click on this, go back here, and from here to here we put that there, and that's the. So every other thing is the same. Then we'll allow HTTP traffic. So let's go. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so allow HTTP traffic. Click here, and which other thing could create? Once the VM starts, create a browser tab and make a request to this new VM's external IP. All right, we will do that. So let's create this and click on that. All right, so. Okay, so say you might have to wait a minute or so after the VM is created for the Docker container to start. So we need to be patient a bit. Meanwhile, you will now save your changes to your Git repository. Okay. All right, so while that is coming up, let's bring up our terminal and change into that, and of course to save all the changes we made previously. And then okay, it's up and running, so let's leave it running a bit, give the container some time to start running. Then we commit. Okay, that's been done, and we push. All right, so let's click on this and see what happens. Okay, so we need to give it a bit of time. Okay, so let's go back and see. Let's click on this. We should be good to go. All right, so that's done, but we'll still go back to the container and let's be patient a bit. It'll come up online. Let's close this. So that's it, it's up and running. Okay, so we've done this, we've done this, we've done that. So automate builds with triggers. Container registry, go to the container registry. At this point you should have a folder named DevOps image with at least one container in it. So let's go to the container registry. Okay, source is not what we want. Container registry. Okay, let's go to the container registry, and there we go. Let's see the image we have stored there. Minimize this. Okay, so click into the folder, and we have one image, version 1. All right, so now click the triggers link on the left and click create trigger, and the trigger will be called a DevOps trigger. Okay, so let's do that. Let's see. It said on the left, not on the right. Okay. Okay, let's see the instructions again. Click the triggers link on the left. Okay, so the left here, I don't see any triggers. Okay, let's click on that. No, that's not it. Okay, let's click into it and see what happens. Okay. Okay, no. Oh. Alright, so where's the trigger? Let's go back. Let's go back to instruction. It says, okay, click the triggers link on the left. Obviously this is let's click this. No. Go back up. Okay. Let's click this. I don't see any triggers. Delete. Okay. Triggers. Okay, that's interesting. Obviously there's definitely something different here. So we'll have this, but I don't see any triggers. Go to settings, let's click on this, nothing. Okay, let's go back. Let's click, that's not, there's nothing there too. So let's do this, let's click on this. Alright, so show pull command and manifests repository triggers. How do we create triggers here? That's the problem now. Okay. Alright, so that's just to jump about. Alright. Okay, let's go back. Container registry. Click cloud build. Oh, we're in the wrong place. So there's the container. I'll go to cloud build. Sorry, we are in the wrong place, so we need to go to cloud build. Okay, so that's where we should be, not in the registry. Okay, all right, so on the left, triggers, and create a DevOps trigger. Select your DevOps Git repository and select any branch for the branch. All right, so triggers, create trigger. All right, call it DevOps trigger. Push to a branch, pull for event. Select all for branches. Choose a Docker file. Okay, all for branch is all. So let's go back here. Okay, push. Okay, push the branch repository. This one and any branch. All right, so any branch, and then build configuration we get from our Docker files. Okay, so okay, let's see. Okay. All right, so select the default image we are told, which is this. Okay. Okay, and is there any other thing we should change? No. Accept the rest of the defaults to test click on trigger. Okay, let's create a trigger. All right, so click the history link and you should see a build running. All right, so run trigger, right? Okay, that's happening. So let's go to click. Okay, all right, so that's running. All right, so let's do this. All right, so scroll down and look at the logs. The output of the build here is what you would have seen if you were running it on your machine. So we click this and then we click on logs. Okay, all right, so build logs. So that's what we should see if we're doing it on our own machine. All right, so now return to the container registry service. You should see a new folder DevOps repo with a new image in it. So let's go back. Container service. I would like to do that on a different tab. So let's go to the container registry. Okay, so right click, open a new tab so that we can work from many places at the same time. Okay, so it said you should see a new folder DevOps repo with a new image in it. Okay, so this should be it. Okay, dev image. Okay, so it's called new folder DevOps repo. Okay, so it's not that, it's the other one. Okay, DevOps repo with a new image in it. There you go. All right, return to the Cloud Shell editor. Find the file this in the folder and then change the title property to hello build trigger. So let's pick that one up. Just select that. So do this. Let's pick this one. Go to the open editor. Go to the main and change this to and let's save that. Save all. Okay, come back to terminal. Now commit changes and push. So let's bring this up a bit, push, and then of course from the origin to master. Okay, all right, that should happen. And then turn to the cloud console and the build service. You should see another build. Okay, so this is the build service. Let's go back. So it's happening already. So return, you should see another build service. Check my progress to verify the objective. Okay, all right, so okay, that's done. That was fast. Let's check that one out. Okay, so test your build changes. When the build completes, click on it to see the details. Under execution details, copy the image link. Okay, let's minimize this. Details, click the image link. Where is that? And there it is. Click that one. It opens. And then what are we supposed to do? Click on it. Say under execution and copy the image link. Oh, I'm supposed to have copied that, not click on it. Okay, so let's copy the link and then go to the complete image service as you did earlier. Create a new virtual machine to test this image. Select the box to deploy a container image to the VM. Paste the image you just copied and select allow HTTP traffic. Okay, so we would let's do the same thing we did. Let me open that in a new tab. That way it's easy for us to jump between tabs to work. Okay. All right, so we create a new instance. Okay. Okay. Let's create a new instance. All right. Leave the other defaults. What will change is here. Paste that image there, and then hold on, image. Okay, okay, copy link. Okay, let's be sure we're doing the right thing. Oh, still the same. Okay, it's all right. So let's do this and then that. Okay. When the machine is created, test your change by making a request to the VM's external IP address in your browser. Your new message should be displayed. Okay, so we'll do that, and of course we give it a bit of time to draw in the image, and then we'll test it out to see. Okay, so give it a couple of minutes. It shouldn't go now unless it start fast. Okay, so while that is doing, and then that's the end of the lab. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's see if we will get the kind of response I would love to see. Okay. Okay, so let me paste that URL here. Okay, so that's the URL. So that's the image itself. Okay. All right. So GCR /. Okay, so it's correct. It should work. So all right. So we have this. So just give it a few minutes. Image will come online. wait a bit. Let's close this window, close this one, and then just hold on a bit. In a few minutes it should come on live. Okay. Okay, still not coming online. Let's do this. All right, let's go back there. It says let's click on this. Still not working, so we need to be patient. It's okay. You might have to wait a few minutes after the VM is created for Docker container to start. So let's wait a few minutes. Let's click on this. Still not starting. Right, let's click into it. Okay. Alright, so we have monitoring. Let's see. Network packets, no data. Right, just started, so still coming up. So let's go to details. If I can access my logs, I'll go back to here. I should be able to access my logs from here anyway. Stop this and click on that. Show info panel, monitoring, and we should monitor from here. Now let's click on details. Alright, so the logs. Let me open that in a different window. Let me. Okay. Alright. Okay, so that's the image we used. Okay. Alright, so let's go back and try that again. Let's see. Logs. Okay, I continue destroy failed result exit code. Oh, interesting. Invalid reference format. Okay, this seems to be a problem. Let's click on that. It's still not working. Okay, so that image is not right. Let's go back here. This is what I expect. Let me copy this. Okay, copy that. Let's go back here. Let's click here. Let's edit. Okay, we should be able to change the format of the. Okay, so let's change that there. All right. Okay. All right. Yes, it will be restarted. Let's save that and restart. Okay, so we look at logs. So the format of the image, invalid reference format. So we're supposed to have copied it like this, and not by right clicking. Just do this, copy the image, and that's it. All right, so let's go back and see. VM is already started. It's still starting. You can see edit VM still coming up, so let's be patient. Give it a few minutes. Okay, so builds are where we actually create our triggers. Just click on that, trigger this, and of course to create trigger we just simply click here, and All right, so let's see. It's still up and coming. Let's look at the logs. Okay, let's load newer logs. All right, let's go down, 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 down. Okay. Okay, the Docker area, the Docker daemon stopped, but let's see. Okay. Okay, that was the earlier one we had, so let's see. Logs. All right. Start view central. This. Okay, integrity events. Start. All right, so let's see. All right, it's done. All right, let's see what happens. It's the error. Just hold on. Check your logs again. Click to get newer logs. Okay. C2C. User consent available. Let's see if it was deployed successfully. And I don't see any trouble here, but let's hold on. Okay, things are still going on. So, all right, it's not running. Okay. Okay. I don't see any errors, just information, so I think all is working. Okay, all right, so let's try that one more time, and there we go. So it works. All right, so we're done with that, so we can close the windows, close this one, close this one, close this one, close this one, and then of course do our check, and it goes through, so the lab is successful. Okay, so after everything, of course, if you have issues, use your logs to troubleshoot and then correct any errors you might have. So click on end lab, of course leave a rating for the lab, submit that, and everything should be okay, and that ends the lab. All right, thank you for watching, and leave likes, and of course follow my channel for more videos from Quick Labs.